Hello from Canada. So, little Miss Bree Smalls, what are we doing this holiday?
So, we landed into Calgary yesterday. We spent the night in Calgary and I don't have a suitcase because I got lost by the airline. But we've picked up our rental car and we're driving to Jasper today. We have loads of snacks in the back, so we went to Walmart last night and that was fun. So then we're spending a couple of days in Jasper. Then we'll be driving down to Banff for a few days, then Revelstoke, then Vancouver. And then we're going to Vancouver Island where we're going to Chipino and Victoria.
And we're going to film this so that you can see all of it, and then hopefully also embarrass our kids one day when we decide to show them all of these sort of shenanigans that we got up to. But importantly, I wish to emphasise one incredible bit of news that we had just less than an hour ago. Ellen's case has been found. It is being sent via courier to our next place that we're staying in Jasper, and that will be with us by midday tomorrow, because let me tell you now, waking up early in the morning to fill out an insurance claim is not necessarily the thing you want to do when you haven't even been in the country more than 24 hours.
Yeah.
But hopefully, well, you took it quite well in the end. I know it was upsetting, but the holiday is just improving and improving, and I can't wait to get up into the mountains. So we'll see you again very shortly. Bye. Hello there, it is TBC Travels onwards. We are now at Maligne Lake, and it is absolutely stunning and snowing. So as you can probably tell, we have layered up and got a bit warmer. Ellen's now wearing my coat that I was wearing in the clip just before. I've got my wool one and a jumper on, and because here we are just surrounded by snow on these platforms, on these trees. It is just absolutely stunning. It really, really is. So here we are at yet
Just late.
another one. It just seems that around every single corner is just beautiful. I say beautiful, they've got different people to appreciate that they're just as beautiful. So here's another one. Here we are, we're on the boat going to Spirit. It is absolutely beautiful. I just want to competition in the Kodak pictures to dream it off the map. So really, really hope this will be I'll show you what we get. Right, here we are, although you can't see us.
There we go.
Bear Island.
Spirit Island. Spare Island.
Hello, Briggy Smalls.
Lunch with a view.
Definitely lunch with a view, but what is lunch before we show everyone the view?
It is sandwiches, fried rice, and bacon. We have a pumpkin tart. A bear's paw.
Bear's paw. Never had one before. I'm looking forward to this. And the view?
It's that.
Ellen and I have just gone for a little wander. You have to be careful when going down trails like this because you're meant to make enough noise so that bears can hear you approaching. But look how beautiful it is. And how quiet it is. Until there's a bear! And here we are at Athabasca Glacier. Sweetheart, can you tell us a bit about this?
So the glacier has retreated quite a lot. There are some signs along the trail to get to it, and in 10 years it must have melted 15-20 metres. So it's much smaller than it used to be, but still beautiful.
And if we look up there, we can actually see there are buses going along the trail very, very slowly, very gently to the glacier itself. Oh, there's Louise head. And there you can see loads of people have gotten off. They're partway on the glacier up there. Quite something, really. So here we are at Lake Louise. I mean, this is probably the postcard picture of a lot of what you see in the Rockies. That, of course, is the very popular hotel, and this is already the queue to get here. They've almost closed the car park and it's only just gone 7 AM. That meant a very early start for us, but you know what? It's going to be worth it. Where is it that we're now off to?
We are off to Lake Agnes Tea House.
For?
A cup of tea.
And they have a maple tea.
They do have a maple tea.
So we'll have to give that a go.
About -1 right now, so I can't wait to get there.
So it's about 3.5 kilometres up from the car park, but 3.4 from the hotel, and we've just got to follow this track. Hello, doggo. here we are at Maligne Lake, and up there is a helicopter dropping stuff off at the tea room, which is where we're now going to be going. There was a parcel in the end of it, but as you can see now it's been removed. So, how are you finding the hike so far, Briggy Smalls?
It's good. It's quite steep, but we're managing. So we've just hiked from, you saw us heading up to Lake Agnes Tea House. We had a cup of tea in there. We had Mountain Zen tea, Canadian maple tea, which smelled incredible, and a hot chocolate. And then we carried on hiking up to the big beehive, which you would have seen the view of Lake Louise from, which is just incredible. And along the hike there was snow on the ground, so it was a little bit precarious, but we made it, and it's 100% worth it.
Can I quickly show my shoes?
Yeah.
I mean, it was so slippery and slidey.
And Tom decided to wear these.
So, as you can see,
not hiking shoes.
No grip.
But we're now heading back down the other side where the sun is, so hopefully there won't be any snow. And we'll see you back at the bottom of Lake Louise.
We do apologise, we did promise you a video at the bottom of Lake Louise, but we got too busy with lunch, got attacked by some rather odd looking insects.
Yeah.
But it was an absolute gorgeous hike and highly recommend. At the moment, as you can probably see just towards the back of us, we've actually got in a gondola. We're going up to a place called the Sky Bistro for lunch, but let me just, dinner even. But let me just show you the view from the gondola. So over there you can see all the gondolas coming towards us. It's a little bit rocky. I should probably stay sat down. And this is a track up from the gondola right to the peak where we just were. And that top floor there is where we're going to be eating tonight. Right peeps, I'm not always the most mature, as you will now realise. We have here Lake, and I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, Mini Wanker. Look at it. It is quite splendid. Hello, darling wife. We want this whole video to be travel focused, which is why we haven't really focused on our food. But this is such a special location that it seems very remiss not to at least talk about this one in particular. So, would you mind telling me a bit about what you have in front of you?
Well, I have a chicken supreme, which has been de-garlic and onions, and some maple glazed broccoli. And you have chop and chips.
Chop and chips with some red wine cooked cabbage.
Yes.
And some green beans and watercress by the looks of it.
We're at the Sky Bistro at the top of Sulphur Mountain in Banff, and this is our view.
And this is a view that you get of Banff down there. We'll show you a clip in just a bit of the Fairmont here. It's got a massive golf course as well. It looks really, really posh and quite worth a visit at some point. Here we are in a lovely red seats at the top of Tunnel Mountain, and the vista is just absolutely gorgeous.
So we're overlooking Banff in the valley between the mountains.
And there's loads of little lakes in between, so you can just imagine it in a couple of months' time. But I mean, how did you rate this in terms of difficulty and length?
Length, it's quite a short hike. It was quite steep though, so I'd say it's moderate.
But how does it compare to yesterday?
It's
Which
not,
we can both agree was a bit of a challenge after a while.
not as challenging as yesterday. Not quite as beautiful, but still amazing.
Oh look, you can see the Sky Bistro over there. Let me show everyone. So right at the top there. That's the best I can do given the haze, but you can just see it there, right on the peak. And down there is Banff, as we know it. And the mountains surrounding it. Sadly it's very hazy as we've said, but it is breathtaking nonetheless. So this here is part of the golf course belonging to the Fairmont. It's not a bad place to play golf. So here we are, walking into Banff. I'd like to say we just got off this limo, but Ellen won't let me get one. It is a gorgeous town, and I'll make sure to take some footage of it later. But we're now heading in for dinner. What are we going to get, little one?
Which is Canadian.
Yes. And what are you going to get, do you think? Yeah. I mean, whenever we go anywhere, we always make sure that they can cater for Ellen's intolerance to garlic and onions, so we're looking forward to it. So here we are at Earl's, and I decided to order the PB&J cocktail after we were told about a cocktail offer that was on. As you can see, it is one of the funkiest drinks I've ever seen. I think the base is just jelly. Sweetheart, what's actually in it?
So, screwball peanut butter whiskey, raspberry jelly, red wine, fresh lemon and egg whites.
Wow. Yeah, you can tell with the egg whites at the top, can't you?
That's really nice. It's not what you expect. It's like creamy but also fruity.
So would you have it?
Yeah, but I prefer
And how does that one go down? Sweetheart, what's on the menu today?
I have another one with salmon. And you have a
Shumami bowl.
vegan style. It's good.
Before I show our lovely listeners our dessert, how big is it?
It's ginormous. I'm very happy that we're sharing it.
Yeah, not going alone. Right, so we ordered
Celebration cake. This is Tom loves birthday cake. There's 2 in it. And we're hoping this will be similar. It is massive. Look at those hundreds and thousands.
it is literally massive. So we're now on Bear Street, aren't we? And what are we doing? Any shops in particular that have caught your eye? We've just been to Canada Goose.
And tell them about themselves as a
I couldn't help myself.
yeah, let's go have a look around.
Yes. So like I said, this is Bear Street. There's actually an awful lot of art galleries down here that all, as you would suspect, its main muse is in fact bears given to the street. So we'll show you a bit later on. So, like we said, we'd show you a bit more of Banff. Something that we wanted to highlight, and this isn't just a thing in Banff National Park, this is also going on in other national parks too. And that's to do with these wooden chairs that just pop up everywhere. So as you can probably see in the background there, you've got some blue ones, but when you're actually doing the different hikes, in these areas of outstanding natural beauty, they actually erect these red chairs that you can just go and sit on. They tend to be quite big chairs, not like comically big, but large enough that you really notice them and they stand out. It makes for an absolute treat when you do take the chance to go and sit down, and you know what, it's a nice opportunity to rest those weary legs. These ones over here are blue, and as you will see, it's actually got a fire. So if you are cold, and Banff is a place that likes to be cold, this is a great place to sit down and not be disturbed, pestered by the need to have to go and buy a coffee, beer, or anything like that in order to do so. Here we are, just on the main street right now. We thought that we'd just give you a clip of it going down. Now just imagine this at Christmas time, with Christmas lights going down here. It'd be splendid. Anyway, we're now going to head in here. There's another mall. There's quite a few mini malls in Banff. And then we're going to head our way down there and hopefully end up in Falraven to purchase something for little Briggy Smalls. As you can see, it's even a thing on the magnets.